Decreasing workplace stress and increasing productivity is as simple as making sure that you have a plan to help employees manage these 5 top workplace stress triggers. And the first one is an increase in workload due to staff cutbacks, or maybe a company that is in the growing stages and they financially can't afford to onboard additional staff members, but the tasks and duties to grow the business still need to happen. And so what happens is that we continue to pile on more work to the employees we do have without giving them any additional compensation or sometimes even just verbal recognition. And that is the number one stress trigger of American employee workforce today, is the constant adding of new duties, new tasks, because someone left or they can't hire someone because of a hiring freeze. And so those duties and tasks are dispersed to current employees and they get nothing for it. Now, the second stress trigger that the American workforce experiences, and as I go through these, think about your staff. How many staff members do you have? Do you have 4? Do you have 2? Do you have 50? Do you have 100? So imagine these stress triggers. This is your workforce. The second one are people issues due to personality conflicts, miscommunication, favoritism, and unfair treatment. So what this means is that companies easily put together a marketing strategy, a business strategy, a growth strategy, but rarely do companies have a true people strategy. And by that, I'm referring to where you invest, train, recognize your employees, all the people that work there. And you provide them with training such as around personality differences and how to appreciate that, and how to avoid miscommunication and be proactive in communication styles. Talking to your managers about favoritism and what that looks like and what that can sound like in the workforce. And then unfair treatment. And this is not just of managers and their employees, but of colleagues, where there's actual bullying going on. About 82% of the American workforce say that they experience bullying in their place of employment. And that is a huge stress that can be influenced, if not controlled, by leadership. The next stress trigger is about balancing the work-life balance. I have saying that this work-life balance is a myth. There's no way to establish a true work-life balance. How do you take work out of life and take life out of work? Like when you walk through one door, you're supposed to leave it at the door. Yeah, but how many of us can really do that? But what we can work towards is work-life integration, right? Because work-life balance, where you're not supposed to think about your home life or anything outside of work while you're at work, that just creates stress as well. And it creates tension, guilt, worry, and regret. Because if someone is looking at their phone for a brief moment, just to make sure that there's been no emergencies or any contact from family members, another staff member can be like, you're looking at your phone, you're not working. Instead of giving permission for our employees to be adults, to police themselves, to work within a construct and reasonable expectations. The fourth stress trigger in the workplace is fear of being laid off. And this is, some of your employees are so afraid of being laid off because they can't lose their job. They need that paycheck. And they do that so much that they work at optimum levels all day long. From the time they walk in the door until the time they leave, they are just rushing, running, just never sitting down. And they're really, what they're doing is they're burning themselves out from the inside out. Imagine if you had a racehorse and you were on a racehorse and a jockey was constantly kicking and forcing this racehorse to run at prime levels, at full speed for 8 to 10 hours a day, how much work and productivity could you get out of that racehorse? It would be short-lived. That's what is going on with your employees when they are so afraid of losing their jobs that they work at those optimum levels at all times. And then the last stress trigger is unrealistic demands from management and leadership to perform outside of their natural-born talents and their skill sets. Because this is what happens. You have someone who you hire for a particular job description and duties, and then because that person is so good at what they do, all of a sudden they get promoted or they get assigned new tasks and duties. But those tasks and duties are not part of their skill sets, or they're not part of their natural talents, and so they slowly start to fail or flounder in their current role, and then they're let go. But they used to be such a good employee. And that's what, as managers and leaders, these 5 stress triggers, we need to have a toolbox of coping methods in order to increase productivity, really without spending a dollar. Because once we allow our employees to experience less stress, they're free to work as hard or as long as they want, because it's fueling their passion. It's fueling what they want to do, instead of weighing them down with the pressures of stress.